Come on, man. What are we doing here? Pretending like we care about random sports news when the real issue is staring us in the face? It's the first Sunday without football, and we won't see meaningful action again for 200 days. It's okay to admit that this is rough. It's okay to feel lost, just hoping Bo Nix rides by on a surfboard and tells me to hop on. But he won't. And it's miserable. And to make things worse, the disrespect toward Bo Nix is getting out of hand, and I won't stand for it. In this video, we're breaking down the latest shade being thrown at him in this Broncos squad. We'll also look at potential tight end upgrades outside of the NFL draft and dive into Woody Page's bold predictions for this year's draft. Before we get into the latest news, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so you never miss an update. Let's move on to the new news. Now, since it's the off-season, people are scrambling for content, and one of the big trends is redrafting last year's class. The idea is simple. Knowing what we know now, where would these players go if the draft happened again today? And here's where things get ridiculous. We've heard respected NFL analysts say that Bo Nix had one of the best seasons ever for a rookie quarterback. If it weren't for Jayden Daniels' incredible year, everyone would be doing backflips over Bo Nix. So there is absolutely no world where Bo isn't the second quarterback taken in a redraft. Yet, somehow, some analysts are still disrespecting him. They claim the Commanders would still pick Caleb Williams, even though Caleb had a rough season. Let's be real. He was supposed to be in a perfect situation with top-tier weapons like Cole Kmet and multiple elite wide receivers. He had great running backs. Everything was set up for success, yet he struggled against weak competition. And still, Bo Nix had a much better season than Drake May. Congrats to May, he had a solid rookie year, but his potential wasn't even close to what Bo Nix showed. Now, looking at CBS's redraft, they have Bo Nix going 6th overall. Sure, it's nice to see him ranked higher than Michael Penix, Brock Bowers, and J.J. McCarthy. But come on, 6th? That feels disrespectful. Any NFL team with an aging quarterback, or no quarterback at all, would be fighting to take Bo Nix at number 2. And as more people watch him play and see what he can do with the right talent around him, they'll realize it too. But wait, it gets worse. Not only did they drop him to 6th, but the 33rd team, a site that's becoming a competitor to PFF, Pro Football Focus, posted a so-called mic drop tweet. They listed every rookie quarterback in NFL history with 4,000 passing yards, 30 total touchdowns, and 10 wins. The list, just Jayden Daniels. Well, guess what? They forgot something. Bo Nix actually had a better season than Jayden Daniels, against tougher teams and with less talent around him. And, let's not forget, one of Daniels' touchdowns was a lucky Hail Mary against the Bears. If you really watched the season, you'd see that Bo Nix and Jayden Daniels were much closer in performance than people think. And I love that people called them out for it. The media might not be paying attention to the Broncos now, but they won't be able to ignore them next season. Right now, it feels like a lot of NFL stories are written by artificial intelligence, because if they actually watched the Broncos, they'd have a different story to tell. One big reason I believe the Broncos will prove people wrong next season is their success in the draft. A recent stat came out showing the percentage of first- and second-round draft picks that teams still have on their roster. And guess what? The Broncos are in the top 10. That's a great sign. It shows the team is making smart draft choices, which is key if they want to keep making the playoffs and going on deep runs. Now, let's compare that to teams like the Raiders. They've been struggling for years, and it's no surprise why. Less than 40% of their top draft picks are still on the team. That's a disaster. The Broncos, on the other hand, have been consistently making strong picks, and I expect that trend to continue. Seeing players like Garrett Bowles still on the roster after all these years is proof of that. And with George Paton leading the draft decisions, I'm confident he'll find great talent, not just in the early rounds, but throughout the entire draft. There have been a lot of rumors swirling about what the Broncos might do next. So, who will the Broncos draft this year? Given their recent success in picking great players, it's a big question. Now, Woody Page believes that when Sean Payton mentioned looking at inside linebackers and safeties, he was actually trying to mislead people. According to Page, the real targets for the Broncos in the first 2 rounds are running back and tight end. And honestly, I agree. Sean Payton is very direct when making big statements, like saying the Broncos will make the playoffs. But when it comes to draft season, he starts playing mind games. We saw this last year when he made it seem like the Broncos were all in on J.J. McCarthy, only for them to grab Bo Nix instead. So when Payton says they're focusing on safety and linebacker, it might just be a distraction. In reality, they're probably looking at tight end and running back. Another interesting bit of news from this slow Sunday. There's been a lot of talk about the Broncos possibly making a move for Deebo Samuel. I even covered that in a video last week. But now, Chris Harris Jr. has stepped in to defend Marvin Mims, basically saying, hey, we already have a 2-time Pro Bowler and an All-Pro wide receiver. At the end of the season, Sean Payton called Marvin Mims an elite playmaker. So why would the Broncos spend money on Deebo Samuel when they already have Mims? It's great to see a former player like Chris Harris Jr. step up and defend Mims, especially since Mims' own father backed him up, saying, 100% agree. Now, does this mean the Broncos have already decided Mims is their guy for next season? Maybe Mims even told his dad, I'm the new Joker in this offense. No Deebo needed. Or is this just a proud dad supporting his son on social media? Either way, I get the argument. Mims has serious potential, and keeping him instead of bringing in Deebo could save money and avoid extra drama. But at the end of the day, I trust Sean Payton to make the right call. Now, the other big rumor is about Taysom Hill. With Darren Rizzi joining the Broncos as assistant head coach and special teams coordinator, there's a lot of speculation. The Saints have a new coaching staff and they're changing their offense. That means Taysom Hill, who's played everything from quarterback to tight end, might not fit their plans anymore. Cutting him would save them around $10 million. If that happens, could the Broncos bring in Hill on a veteran minimum deal? Some people think so. What do you all think? Would Taysom Hill be a good fit in Denver? Taysom Hill is one of those players who can do just about everything. He's a big guy, yet he can return kicks, outrun defenders, and even power through tackles. It's crazy how fast he moves for his size. While he's not a traditional tight end, he can still make big plays in that role. Just look at some of his highlights. He goes up and grabs tough catches and runs creative trick plays like end-arounds and red options. But here's the real question. Does Taysom Hill make sense for the Broncos? When he played for Sean Payton in New Orleans, it worked because their main quarterback, Drew Brees, wasn't mobile. But Bo Nix, he's way faster than people expected. So if Payton wants a running QB, why not just let Nix run the offense? Now, if the Broncos could get Hill on a veteran minimum contract, sure, it might be worth a shot. But if he costs too much, it's probably not worth it. What do you all think? Would Hill be a good fit in Denver? If you want daily updates and the latest news about the NFL, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to press the bell icon so you get every new video first.